Norm Rosen from RV Lifestyle Magazine. I'm in Shanty Bay, Ontario at the Hitch House with Chris McKee. And Chris, we are sitting in the first production unit of the Newmar Mountain Aire 3825. Now this is a very special motorhome. This is a rear diesel pusher.
Yes, sir.
It has articulated rear wheels.
Yes, it does.
Tell us what makes this unit, which is you're looking MSRP Canadian, about $1,460,000.
No, this one's just a little over 1.1, or a little
over 1.1 million.
Yes, sir.
Canadian.
Yes.
So U.S. Talk to a U.S. dealer, figure out the exchange rate. In U.S. dollars, of course, it's significantly less, but figuring in the exchange rate dollar for dollar. This is elegant.
It is. This was, as you mentioned, the first one that they built. So often when that case, they want to put their best foot forward to the dealers.
Yeah.
So we got the best colors, the best interior wood choice, the perfect tile floor, and it's all kind of combined to make what you see here. Which is, again, if I can expand a little bit on it, it is a 38-foot tag axle. And the original purpose for that is you can bring all your toys now. So you can have a big stacker trailer with a 30-foot box with a hoist in it, the whole 9 yards, and so you can have one car, a golf cart, or two cars, a couple motorcycles. You can really bring everything and the kitchen sink with you on your adventures now. So it just it goes a long way, and we heard stories of 38-footers. And we never had the opportunity to carry one way back when Monaco used to have them back in the mid-2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And when they went the way of the dodo, so to say, we lost out on that opportunity.
Yeah.
And so we've had, not as much as a 45 calling, but we've had callings for shorter tag axles.
Yes.
And finally, we found something to fit that bill. And it just happens to be in an extremely luxurious package.
Oh yes.
And it's kind of the perfect coach for those people coming out of a low 30-foot to mid 30-foot luxury unit. If they just want a little extra space, maybe the bath and a half.
Yes.
Or those husbands and wives who are getting a little argument that 45 is just a little bit too big for them. You can shave 7 feet off the back now, and still have all this. So.
And you see, the main advantage of having a rear diesel pusher this size, like 3825, instead of a 45-foot unit, is because when you're towing a trailer behind with all of your toys in it, you're still within the maximum allowable length for the rig. So from a Highway Standards Act perspective, you're within the allowable length, but from a usability perspective, having a little bit smaller tow vehicle, motorhome, towing the trailer, makes it a lot more maneuverable.
Yes, it does.
Now tell me about these articulated rear wheels.
So they call it passive steer, and what it is on that tag axle, as you turn, if you're turning the coach, say to the, we'll say you're making a right-hand turn, your front wheels are going to turn, if you're turning a right hand, using the proper angle with the camera here, this way. Your back wheels will turn in the opposite way, and that really helps make you, round out that corner, so you end up with less wheel scrubbing, your tighter turning radius, and it's easier on the whole coach.
Yeah.
And you can do a much, much tighter turn getting into those tight campgrounds, or backing into a garage, or turning to back into the garage. When you back up, the articulating tag axle does lock into place, so you're not going to damage it that way. But it really is a brilliant system. We've seen it in the bigger coaches since about 2015. It took 2 or 3 years for them to really dial it in. Now that it's dialed in, it's an incredible system. and we hear a lot of positive feedback about it.
Now that is on the Spartan chassis.
That
of
is,
course.
yes.
And you were mentioning that Spartan made some tweaks
Yes.
to the specifications for this particular unit.
Yes, on a normal Spartan chassis, the rear wheel cut is about 12 degrees. And they've bumped this up to about 18 degrees because it is a shorter wheelbase, so you don't have any, any wheel scrubbing or anything like that does take place. It was, they had to do it because, again, if you're lessening the wheelbase, you do have to have a tighter turning
Turning radius, yes, of course. Any idea offhand what the turning radius on this unit would be?
Well, we're in our showroom here, which is about 80 feet wide,
Yes.
and I'm pretty confident I could do a 180 in here without this thing breaking much of a sweat.
Oh, we're going to try that later.
Absolutely.
Yeah, after we take it down to the race course. The ride of a
Yes.
vehicle like this, of course, because today it happens to be a terrible day outside, which is why we're filming indoors at this beautiful indoor showroom at the Hitch House. You can accommodate, what, about a dozen or 15 units in
About
here?
15.
Size?
The most we've squeezed in here is 20, but it gets too tight. You can't walk around the units properly and stuff like that. But yeah, 12 to 15 units. We have a real nice flow in here, and people can get around everything.
And this is an interesting dealership. When I was talking to your late father, Dave was explaining how when you built this dealership, when you rebuilt it after the fire a few years ago, you have an overhead mezzanine where people can actually go up onto a higher level and look down to see exactly what's doing on the roof of each vehicle.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's unique at a dealership.
Yes, it is. And part of the reason we did that is as these diesels get bigger and bigger and you have integrated awnings on the top, ladders become less and less useful. Sometimes to the point where they're more of a hindrance.
Yes.
People trip going up, and you could hurt yourself. So Newmar was the first manufacturer that made the decision they're just going to axe the ladder on some of these, and that also helps to build the coach just a little bit longer as well because again it doesn't affect your overall length. So when they did that, people still want to see the roofs just out of curiosity. You're spending a lot of money, and it does seem silly, but you're perfectly entitled to see how your roof is going to look.
Oh, exactly.
And not to mention, how easy it's going to be to maintain and stuff like that. We can do all that here, but some people are still do-it-yourselfers.
Yes.
So they want to get the ladder out and climb up and, hop over and start doing, look at your own roof seals and stuff like that. And, but they want to know what it looks like before they make that purchase.
Oh, yeah. So this way they can just walk around the mezzanine at the Hitch House.
Absolutely.
And see it. It's quite a fascinating dealership construction.
It was the fire was something that I don't wish to ever go through again, and no one else here does. But it was after we got over the initial shock, when you get handed a blank piece of paper and say, "We got to rebuild." I'm not going to lie, it was very exciting. And it was a lot of fun. Dad was very crucial through a lot of that in terms of he went to a lot of RV stores, car stores to get different ideas, and we went with pretty well the same footprint, just a little bit grander.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was actually forced due to code upgrades. So.
Yeah, and he was very excited. I used to come up and visit him during the construction process, and he was so excited with the actual architecture and the design of a dealership purpose-built for motorhomes and RVs, that he was offering the plans to other RV dealers around North America, and a lot of interest.
Yes. And what that was is, he really feels that, competition does inspire everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But if everyone does a good job, it helps the industry grow in a positive manner.
Yes.
And having a well thought out dealership really contributes to that. You can sell all you want, but when you're fixing it, that's where you try and do you try and continue to put that foot forward.
Yes.
In the after sales service.
Now, as a Newmar dealer, there are not a lot of Newmar dealers across Canada.
No, there's not.
So as the major Newmar dealer in central Canada, people who purchase a Newmar from you also have access to service and all the courtesies that you would be offering any Newmar owner.
Correct.
The Newmar owners that buy from you have that courtesy throughout North America, throughout the entire Newmar network.
That is correct.
So when you're driving a Newmar, you're never alone. I mean, if you have an issue or you need regular maintenance on your Spartan chassis, there are Spartan dealers all over North America, because Spartan is a major commercial chassis manufacturer. And there are massive Spartan service facilities all over the United States and Canada. So you never have to worry about having a Spartan chassis, which is not all that common within the RV industry, although it is very much within the bus and the truck industry.
Yes, it is.
And then you have all of the Newmar dealerships, the whole Newmar network throughout North America. So you're driving a premium coach.
Yes, you are.
Now the fit and finish and the engineering and the design and the smallest little detail is impeccable on these units. You would probably have to double the price to notice anything either more opulent or unlikely you're going to find anything better finished.
I don't think so. You can there are and I'm hesitant to say it, nicer coaches out there, but if you want to go with like a Newell or a Prevost conversion, that's where you have to go to get that.
You're into multi-millions of dollars for those units.
Starting I think at 2.5 and go up
yes,
from there, US.
And higher.
Yeah.
Yes, and they go up from there. So you could look at Newmar as a manufacturer of luxury motorhomes that are still within a realistic price range.
Yes. And one thing I really like in particular about Newmar is when they build a lot of their components or use a lot of components from certain manufacturers, they have to order more than what a Prevost manufacturer would or a Newell. Their job is to be, and speaking to the Millennium coaches and stuff like that, the Newells. Sorry to get off topic, but they do an incredible job, and I view their job as they have to have the best of the best all the time.
Yes.
When you do that, you're always having a changeover of parts. With Newmar, they do a really nice job. They do life cycles. So it's about 4 or 5 years you're going to see a certain life cycle, and you end up with a much more consistent parts run, and you have your parts are available longer, and they do a good job of retrofitting as well to allow for modernization of coaches and stuff like that. It's not uncommon that you go down to Newmar's service facility and you'll see a year 2000 Mountain Aire.
Yes.
Which is really neat to see, and the guys, just finished a $25,000 upgrade because that was, that's their coach, that's their motorhome, it's their house. They don't want to change.
Oh yes, and when you buy something with the build quality you have in this is not something that has a finite lifespan of 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. This is the type of vehicle that, if properly maintained, the chassis is engineered for commercial purposes for easily 1 million miles.
Yes, it is.
And when you're building on a foundation that's strong and that well engineered, you're really not looking at a motorhome that has a lifespan similar to what an automobile would have.
No, these can last a lot longer, and if you take care of your motorhome, as you mentioned, maintenance-wise, it will take care of you.
Yes.
The biggest thing we see in older coaches that people have caught on to in the last 10 years or so is changing the tires on a proper basis. If you start seeing weather cracking or stuff like that, they certainly they give the go ahead to get new tires on it and stuff like that,
yes.
and that allows you to run safer, smoother. Old tires, when they start getting hard and stuff like that, they really do affect the ride of a motorhome.
Oh, absolutely. And every tire is actually the weakest link in the entire running gear on a motorhome.
Yes, it is.
Because the rubber on the tire, even on the premium tires, the rubber has a 5 or 6 year expected lifespan, and then it dries out and cracks. And when it cracks, it can be dangerous. So that's why you check your tires according to the tread remaining and according to the date of manufacture. And when you get up to the 5 or 6 year point, you're going to start seeing weathering and cracking in any of the tires that you have on any RV. And that makes it very, very important, because the fresher the tires are, the better they hold the road, especially in wet, rainy, snowy conditions.
Yes.
Let's get back to the features of this particular coach, the Mountain Aire 3825. We're sitting here.
This is all Villa furniture.
This is beautiful.
Yes,
furnishings.
it is. And there's a few main furniture manufacturers in the industry. Flexsteel did get out of it a few years ago, but Villa has always been famous for the high-end furniture. Mm-hmm. And number one, it's because they make very comfortable furniture. But this spacing right here, if you need a 78-inch lounge, they will build you a 78-inch lounge. Mm-hmm. They don't, and that way you don't end up have any spaces on either side. They tend to be on the edge of engineering as well, with power recliners. They were one of the first to do that. When you have a power recliner, the other thing is they didn't take into account is different heights of people. They have kind of different comfort levels. Mm-hmm. So they build a wide variety of that. And they also, with the memory foam they use, it is more comfortable for people of varying heights and stuff like that when you are either in a booth like this or a recliner like what's across from us, or your captain's chairs. Mm-hmm. So they do that. They do a heated floor in here, again, for comfort on those chilly days. We could easily do this interview outside on a day like today with a little bit of heat coming out of the heat pumps, but also the heated floor would make a big difference.
Oh, yes.
It takes that chill out, and the other things we've added to this, or that Newmar added to this coach, so to say, because this was the first one, was a dishwasher, which makes life a lot easier. A beautiful three-door refrigerator. The washer dryer, stackable washer dryer, not a combo. Mm-hmm. What else do we have in here?
Well, let's just think about the unit from the front to the back. So you have within the driver's compartment, you have the rotating captain's and navigator's chairs, almost infinitely adjustable and exceptionally comfortable. The driver's area, where you have the steering wheel is adjustable.
Yes, it is.
Now, at rest, it's in a position which is almost horizontal.
Yeah.
It's in a position similar to what a lot of bus drivers use.
Yes, it is.
And that can tilt. It telescopes back and forth. You can adjust it so that it's comfortable for pretty much any size driver and any driving preferences.
Yes.
So personally, because I drive more motorhomes than buses, I would tilt that up so it would be more at an automotive or a truck sort of angle, and yet it's infinitely adjustable. Visibility of all of the controls, all of the gauges in the driver's area is wonderful, and you don't really have to take your eyes off the road ahead of you to just glance down and see what's doing on the instrument panel.
Newmar and Spartan have done an excellent job with that. The dash, or where your gauge clusters are, is now a 12-inch digital readout with anti-glare in it, which means if the sun is coming in from your driver's side window, it's not reflecting right back in your eyes, distracting you. You also have two larger 10-inch screens that allow for your radio or your cameras. They've gone to a dual screen now, which tends to be a lot of people's preference.
Yes.
For the simple reason that you can have your backup camera on full time watching your trailer or watching around the coach, and then you can have your radio or whatever preference you want coming out of the other screen.
Now there are 4 cameras on this unit.
There is, yes.
So you essentially have complete surround vision.
This also is the 360 camera for reversing, which you're seeing a lot more on cars every day now. Now they're doing it on motorhomes, which is real handy.
Which is like the space.
Yes,
space view.
Yep, the top-down view. So you see a little outline of your motorhome, and we've already heard a lot of reports of people not causing damage to their motorhomes because of that. There was a post there that they wouldn't have otherwise seen, or a car or something like that, or backing out of the garage and realized the compartment door was open.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Although you still, realistically, should have somebody outside spotting for you.
That is one of our number one rules here is we don't move anything without a spotter.
Yeah.
And this is what we do every day. It can not only is it a number one for safety, but number 2, it can save thousands.
Oh yeah.
So.
I mean, if you hit anything, you're going to damage the motorhome, and you're going to do a lot of damage to what you hit because this is a large vehicle.
Yes, large, heavy vehicle, and especially with the new waterborne paint, or I say new, it's been out for about half a decade now, but it's a much longer repair cycle, but it's better for the environment, which we can all look forward to. But when you have something like that, or a repair cycle that takes that long, especially if you go through multi-layers of paint, some of those repairs, they start at $15,000, $20,000 for a scratch.
Oh, for sure.
So,
absolutely. A good friend of mine, Dean Laux, from the Art of Design down in Elkhart, does custom paint jobs, for the marathons and the Newell coaches, the Liberty coaches. And the paint job can be $500,000.
Yes, it can.
Because the custom paint jobs can be like 50 different layers of paint and clear coat and this and that and whatever, but that goes beyond the level that we've got here. Like this is a full body paint.
Full body paint, and it's also a cut and buff masterpiece finish. And what that means is between each layer of paint, each stripe, they're razor blading the edge of the paint line.
Yeah.
They're buffing after the job, so you end up with a perfectly smooth layer or exterior sidewall.
Yeah.
That is also much easier to maintain. Scratches come out much easier. It's a impeccable finish. When you see these coaches that are a decade old that are Newmars, they're a Newmar, even if you're just seeing a 5 feet of the sidewall, because how shiny the exterior still is.
Yeah.
Even a decade after, and they are by far the best aging coaches out there in terms of that. The day if you look after the exterior, this will look just as good 20 years from now. As it does today in our showroom.
Now we're sitting in the dinette slide.
Yes, we are.
And opposite us is, I guess you'd refer to it as, it's a full wall slide, but it's essentially the kitchen slide.
Yes, yeah.
So that gives you a very substantial amount of room side to side,
inside.
Does. What type of slides are these? And what happens if you are in an area and you don't have power? Can you manually extend and retract these?
To do it manually, the short answer is yes, you can. Typically, it's if something has failed.
Yeah.
Now, Newmar was the first company to put a slide out in a motorhome, which is really cool. A lot of their, and they still incorporated a lot of that original design into it because it works, just quite simply. Now, back in 2015, where this kitchen slide is, they came out with a new slide-out system. Now, in conjunction with HWH, it's a flush floor system, but there's also tile on that slide, as you can see.
Yes.
And how that comes in, as opposed to, your traditional slide, which would butt up against the floor, and then when you press to come in, it rides up and over the floor. Well, what this slide does is instead of riding up and over, it comes straight up and then in. That also helps to maintain the look of the flooring because it's not actually touching this floor right here when it comes in. So you don't end up with any of the sand grits or anything like that scraping across the floor, deteriorating the look of your motorhome. This is a much more common slide that Newmar typically uses. This works on a cog system, and it's just a very clean, functional system. So,
and you see on YouTube all the time people who are having trouble with their slides and this and that and this. What is the warranty on aspects of the construction on the Newmar? Things like your slides and your frames and things.
So Newmar typically does a 1-year manufacturer's warranty. Now they are famous for I don't want to say their goodwill work, but their if something wasn't built properly, they have gone back. I've seen a decade and make it right. Now that is those are rare instances, but those are certain.
Well, certain situation, on a unit by unit basis, depending upon what the reason was. Because you're always going to have a bit of wear and tear.
Yes, you are.
And there's always going to be a bit of maintenance required. So if you have a problem, is that a manufacturing defect, an engineering problem?
Yes.
Is it something that is warranty covered or not warranty covered? And the Newmar team are exceptional with the customer service.
They are. Every coach, actually, and you'll see this one right up over by the driver's window, has a phone number of a Newmar employee that you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, if it's something like, if it's 3 a.m. and your fridge stops working, you call that number, you leave a message. You can expect a call back typically within 15 minutes to a half hour. If it's this little light flickering, you're going to get a call back the next business day, typically.
Yeah.
It's on coach usage items or your slides not working. And a little more to the research and development aspect. This slide that they developed, they had it on a test coach for 3 years before they put it into production. It's just not, once they have a good idea, they don't just slap a patent on it, send it out, and hope for the best. The owners, a lot of the time, this design was tested by Matt Miller for 3 years. And I find that kind of testing really helps bring out a lot of the problems early on, and we don't see them because they've happened during the research and development phase.
Oh yeah.
As opposed to something like when some other manufacturers brought out like a Schwintek slide or something like that. They, the slide out systems that were originally designed for an 8-foot box or a 10-foot box, and they put them on a full wall slide, and it just wasn't designed for that initially. It is now, but Newmar really tests everything in all aspects that it's going to be used in.
Now, Newmar, although these are mass-produced, you could say mass-produced, but they're not produced in such numbers and at such a breakneck pace.
No, they're not.
So, Chris, we've now relocated.
Yes, we have.
to the cockpit area. So you're sitting in the captain's swivel chair. I'm sitting in the navigator's swivel chair. I have a really nice desk table in front of me. This is very cool.
Yes, it is. That way the passenger, while they're going down the road, they can either have their laptop out or iPad or read a book.
Yeah.
Gives you lots of options.
Absolutely, and this has a very nice frame design where it's movable. This is very comfortable. Now, in the actual driver's area, there are toggle switches all over the place, but they're all very carefully marked.
Yes, they are.
And we're looking at the screen in the middle with the 4 TV cameras, and then you've got essentially your master control panel, which is another, a 10-inch?
Yeah,
10-inch diagonal.
Dual 10-inch monitors.
Yeah.
You'll have the cameras display through here. One thing that we forgot to mention before is this has a completely custom-tuned JBL sound system to this exact coach.
Oh, that's interesting.
They have a company come in that actually sets up microphones at your sitting locations to ensure the best quality sound.
Excellent.
It is night and day compared to their competition. And it's just something little that makes a huge difference when you're driving down the road. They all sound good while we're sitting here parked, but when you're driving down the road and have the wind noise to contend with and everything like that, this really takes it to the next level.
Okay, now, this is 38 feet.
38 feet, I believe 11 inches.
Yeah, 38 feet, 11 inches. When you're driving this, of course, it's a rear diesel.
Yes.
This has air brakes.
This has air brakes.
So you need an air brake license.
Yeah, your license that you would require for this, at a minimum, would be a DZ.
Yeah.
AZ would also do it, or a BZ.
Primarily because of the air brakes.
Yes, that's correct.
And if you're in Canada and you have that license from any Canadian province, that is recognized throughout the United States.
Correct.
So you don't need any other license.
That is correct.
What's it like behind the wheel?
So this is probably power to weight the most powerful motorhome #1 I've ever driven. It was absolutely incredible, and that's because it's a shorter platform paired with the Cummins X12, which is 525 horsepower and 1,695 foot-pounds of torque.
That's a lot of torque.
Yes, that's what gets you moving in these things.
Yes.
You can have that big trailer on the back, and have just as much, almost just as much get up and go as if it were empty. You have that much power. With the wheelbase being a little bit shorter, it does help having that tag axle.
Yeah.
We've had the New Aire here for a number of years, which is a shorter wheelbase, non-tag axle as well, at 35 feet. It's very peppy, but being a shorter wheelbase coach, if you did not have the Newmar Comfort Drive, which this has as well, you could tell it would be a little bit more ponderous just because that wheelbase is shorter.
Yeah.
With the tag axle on this, with the Comfort Drive, which is all adjustable through your steering wheel, this just makes for nothing rides like this in the industry, or it has the same power to weight ratio. This is actually the best power to weight ratio out there right now in the diesel pusher market.
Amazing. So it drives like a luxury car.
Yes, it does. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but generally, we have a saying here: the bigger they are, the easier they are to drive. And a lot of people initially go, "Oh, well, that can't be." Well, you have more driving aids. You have Mobileye on this. You have lane keeping assist. You have a radar system on the front of it that does pace you with the vehicle in front. So if you and your friends are going caravanning and you want to set up a safe following distance to the motorhome in front of you, you can do that.
Yeah.
And if you come into a construction zone where it drops from 100 kilometers an hour to 80 kilometers an hour, the radar system will pick up the vehicle in front of you slowing down, and it'll slow you down along with that.
So it's the same as the adaptive cruise control that you have through in the automotive industry.
Yes.
Well, that makes it a lot easier to drive.
It does, yes.
And the fact that you've got big mirrors on the outside, but you've got the cameras that you can see exactly what's going on all around the vehicle as you're driving. It makes it a lot easier to drive.
A lot easier, a lot safer. When you put on a turn signal, and yes, you should always use your mirrors, but when that camera can see your blind spot because there's a wide-angle lens on it, that makes all the difference in the world for giving people reassurance.
Oh, yes.
Those are also all equipped with the side view and the rear view camera. They have little lights in it that emit light outside the human eye spectrum that gives it like night vision, or it makes it like night vision. So you can see down the entire side of the coach, even if it's pitch black.
Yeah.
Which, again, makes a big difference if you're coming into a dark campground or dark town at night, or getting home late at night. You're able to see around the coach in a safer fashion. Interesting.
Okay, so adjustability, drivability. You've got climate control up here. You've got your entertainment system. You've got the JBL stereo system. You've got adjustable lighting in the ceiling. You've got, we've lowered the front screen, and also the screen on the driver's side window, because we're in the dealership. So it looks neater like this. Yes. But that gives you a lot of privacy.
It does.
So when you're camping, you're not going to have people coming up and looking.
You won't have, the so-called peeping Tom will not be able to peep.
That's right. I can see if you stop along the road and you want to have lunch or whatever, you're at a rest stop or whatever, I can see lowering the blinds.
Absolutely.
When you stop more for privacy and safety than for any other reason.
Yes, and you have two types of blinds all the way around the coach, including the front, which is, these are the nighttime blinds, which are black. And then the daytime blinds do provide a little bit of texture, so you can still see out a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's very difficult to see in.
To see in,
Yes.
and you still get a little bit of light
And
coming in.
one thing I will point out that is absolutely brilliant, on the inside here it's black.
Yes.
And that helps with, internal privacy and stuff like that. The exterior is white to
It's
reflect
white to reflect the heat.
Yes.
Exactly. While we're talking about heating, you mentioned that this is a ceramic heated floor.
Yes, it is.
And that's front to back.
Yes, front to back. The rear slide area has heating in it, and they use a heat pad in here. So a lot of other manufacturers will use Aqua Hot or an Oasis system
Yes.
in order to heat the floor. They pump the fluid through. You end up with a lot of hot and cold spots, and if there's ever a problem, it can create a big mess.
Oh yeah, because you have to pull up the whole floor to fix it.
Absolutely. And finding the problem, water travels or liquid travels. With this, using a 120 heat pad, you can actually use a voltmeter to measure and figure out where the break is in the floor.
Interesting.
It's been extremely helpful for us. We've only ever had to do that once, but we were within 1 inch, which is pretty incredible considering the amount of floor space you have.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And so that way, we were lucky enough that it was under one specific tile, so you cut around the tile, bring it up, and then Newmar helped us match the grout. So you cannot even to this day on that customer's
you
coach,
wouldn't be able to tell that
can't
you'd
tell.
made a repair. Excellent. Oh. Now that's comfortable.
It is, and you can even put your feet up right on the power switch right next to you.
Right over here.
Yep.
Oh, this is
There you go.
this is
Take a
too
load off.
This is too comfortable. So Chris, I know it's the first unit off the line. It's essentially, one shade away from being a prototype. The odds of us just driving into the dealership, going down to Florida for a few days and back.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put my feet back up. Okay, so we are now sitting in the adjustable reclining theater seating that has lighting, really cool lighting, and
Yep.
cup holders. This does everything.
Built-in cell phone charger. Again, the footrest is adjustable. You have a huge amount of storage in here, which, and again, getting into a shorter floor plan, you'll never have enough storage.
Never enough storage.
You also have access to Newmar's wiring system or their multi-touch pad right there, where you can control the lighting, the shades, the TV right behind the camera.
Yeah.
So there, we can lift up a TV and have a proper theater, or a reclined theater experience.
Yes.
And you dim the lights and make it real nice. And that's also backed up by a Bose soundbar right above there, which
I
is
see that.
Bluetooth linkable,
Yeah.
and as well as wired to the TV.
And they've made the Bose soundbar blend in beautifully. I mean, it's like fine cabinetry.
Yes,
and the
it is.
trim around the slide. It's just amazing. Yeah, and now we're sitting here beside the galley.
Yes.
We've got sink, the stainless steel sinks with the covers. These are Corian.
Yes, they are.
Okay, so these are quite substantial. These
Yes, and Newmar does a lot of their own Corian manufacturing in-house.
really.
So one thing you'll notice is it's a Corian material, and it's the exact same as Corian, but you'll never see that little Corian badge on the counter. And that's because they do that manufacturing in-house. They have specific cabinet makers and countertop makers that, again, it helps to make those running changes. You don't have 17 different cabinets or countertops all piled up there waiting to be used.
Yes.
If there was a mistake, you can make a running change, and you can put the correct countertop or change the color slightly if you run out of the formula.
So is this actually Corian, or is
Yes,
it
that is
similar to Corian?
That is chemically identical to Corian.
Okay. Interesting, but it's Newmar manufactured.
Newmar manufactured.
Interesting. And then you've got the residential faucets. You've got lots and lots of counter space.
Yes.
And then you've got the same Corian covering over the
cooktop.
The cooktop. And then you've got a microwave. I would think
It is a
microwave convection.
It
oven.
is.
And then under you've got a stainless steel dishwasher.
Yes. And more drawers than you can shake a stick at. And the nice thing I
A
like
lot
about
of drawers.
well, the thing I like about Newmar is when you pull out the drawers, they're all full-length drawers. So a lot of these manufacturers, it'll look like a ton of storage. You start pulling stuff out, and the drawer's only this deep.
Yeah.
Well, with the Newmar, it's proper full length of the cabinet. Why not use the space? Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's move this over here for a minute. And we're going to move that over there, and I'm going to pick up the camera. There you go. So the secret is
Just
you
push in.
push in a bit on the door,
Absolutely.
and out they come. How about that?
So all of that space, and all of this is adjustable as well. Mm-hmm. You'll see all the joints are dovetailed.
Yes. Let's take a look at the microwave and then the dishwasher.
So huge microwave. Done by Whirlpool. Dishwasher. Perfect for a couple. The induction cooktop is really well done. So first off, on the back side, you have a built-in cutting board.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Now, one thing that Newmar does a little bit different than everyone else was this induction cooktop can lift out of the counter. And you can take that, place it on your picnic
move the camera.
You could take this out, place it on your picnic bench, and cook outside and keep in here a lot cleaner.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes. So it's just a 120 in a regular household outlet.
And it fit back in right there perfectly. Excellent.
In terms of very, very deep sinks in this.
Yes.
And going back to the counter space. These both pull out. The nice thing, I like, but here's all your weights for the coach. As well as each individual color code by BASF.
Okay, let's take a look at this fridge.
So you have a giant, fully, it's not lit right now. We unplug the refrigerators while they're here just so they're not consuming more electricity than what's needed. But
And that's a Whirlpool.
Yes, it is.
And it's a 3-door with a pull-out drawer freezer that is quite substantial.
Yes, it is. There's different levels of it. Ice maker. You have water that comes, or different types of water, or through a water filter. You can fast cool the water, and it's on the you control the refrigerator's temperature and everything like that through this little display right here.
Excellent. Now, this is a mid-bath floor plan.
Yes, it is.
But this is much larger than your usual.
So this is the half bath,
Yes.
or the powder room.
Really very nice inside.
One thing I've always liked about Newmar's half baths is being a bit of a larger gentleman. I have room to work in there. You can go in there and it's not too tight, it's not claustrophobic, and it's a proper half bath.
Now we're coming back into the master bedroom area.
You do have a articulating or a rear bed setup. Now, this was only for this coach. This was a running change that Newmar made. The standard bed will be a flat bed, but this, I'm certainly happy. In my opinion, we got the better version. You have a larger wardrobe. You have again, you can sit up in bed to watch TV. And again, it comes down to, it was really a nice way to get a little more space in the bedroom.
And behind you is the master bath.
Yes, it is. Come on in. There's lots of room. Another wardrobe with a built-in safe right there. have your stackable washer dryer.
Mm-hmm. And is that a, what type is that?
This is a Whirlpool setup, or sorry, Splendid.
Splendid, yes. And the shower is quite spectacular.
Yes, it is. And Newmar does all this tile work in-house.
Mm-hmm. So it's actual tile.
Yes, it is.
It's not a fiberglass tub surround or anything.
Correct.
Like that. Excellent, and lots of storage space as well. Very nice. That's very nice.
One feature that often gets overlooked is the lighting inlaid in the mirrors in these.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as I say to my wife all the time, it takes me way longer to get ready than her, you know, because it's way harder for me to be pretty.
Yeah.
So, you know, having the side lit mirror for shaving or anything like that really goes, you know, makes life a lot easier.
Excellent. And of course you've got ceiling ducted air.
Yes, and you have the cathedral ceiling in the back bathroom. Mm-hmm. So a nice, beautiful curved ceiling, a little more headroom, because you do step up on top of the engine cover in here. And this is also, this coach, again, continues to utilize Newmar's True Comfort air conditioning system, mm-hmm. which is the quietest air conditioning system in a Class A diesel. I believe that is still out there.
Interesting. Very interesting. Excellent. Now, there is a step up from the master bedroom into the rear bathroom, and that is because the engine, of course, is under there.
That's correct.
And you also have an engine service access port in the floor right in front of the bathroom sink.
Which is probably one of the cleanest engine access ports in the RV industry.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a lot of other manufacturers and they just kind of, they cut out a router, you know, a hatch out, and that's what you're left with. It looks unfinished, it looks unclean.
Mm-hmm.
You end up a lot of time mold and mildew in that crack. They do a beautiful job with that. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's better than anyone else in the business.
Excellent. Okay, are there any other salient points that we may have missed?
Other than the very, very deep... Oh. That's for your DVD player, your bedroom wardrobe area.
Excellent. So that is quite a substantial amount of storage area.
It is, yes. You do have a little bit above the bed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I will touch on while we're back here is Newmar's Silverleaf system, which is the electronic system that controls these panels and controls the larger panels right here. Mm-hmm. Now, it can be intimidating to look at initially, but it is so user-friendly. It's really the next level of you know, in RV ingenuity. They are updating this all of the time, and the nice thing is they allow the dealers to do the service work.
Yes.
A lot of the times when you're dealing with these companies, their work is so proprietary that they want to send you a special module that they can work on the system remotely, as opposed to the dealer actually fixing the issue and getting the customer back on the road.
It would be a lot faster if the dealer does it.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay, let's just some closing thoughts on other models in the Newmar line. Now this is
Fourth from the top, actually.
Fourth from the top. So this is sort of mid-range.
This is the they call it the beginning to their luxury range.
Yes.
Newmar their entry-level product is where everyone else's mid-level to high-level comes into play. Mm-hmm. Newmar, in my mind, refuses to build a sub-quality coach, and that really, really shows. That being said, to set expectations, every manufacturer, every coach is going to have a small break-in period. Or some are smaller than others. Newmar, we find on average about 20 to 30 items that need adjustment in the first year. And after that, you're laughing and on the road. So
amazing.
They really do treat their customers with a certain level of respect that is rarely seen in this industry.
Excellent. Now, for people who want to come and visit you, you are in, it's the Hitch House.
The Hitch House.
In Shanty Bay, Ontario, which
Yes.
is, by my calculations, under 15 minutes north of Barrie
Absolutely. Yeah.
on the Highway 11.
Yes.
The Highway 11 cutoff from 400 north.
Yeah.
It's a little over an hour drive north of Toronto.
That's correct.
To give people an idea. And you carry, of course, the Newmar line,
Yes,
which we're looking at today.
Yeah, we're a full-line Newmar dealer.
And a full range of other RVs.
Yes.
And for people to visit your website, which is
www.thehitchhouse.com, you will find a complete range of what we do carry. It is updated regularly for to suit our customers' best needs. Now that being said, stuff is still obviously still turning right now, so stuff does come off of the website as fast as it goes on the website. Mm-hmm. We try and pride ourselves on being the largest motorhome dealer in Canada.
Mm-hmm. And of course you handle new and used.
New and used. We try and keep the best variety of both types of units. Mm-hmm. If a vehicle that is used is not up to our specifications, we either we work with wholesalers and auctions to dissolve of that inventory to ensure that we have the so-called cream of the crop here.
Yes, and as far as your used array is concerned, your team travels all over North America.
Yes.
In order to gather the cream of the crop of the used motorhomes
Yes.
that are available on the market.
Regularly, we deal with dealerships regularly in Florida. We've gone as far as San Diego to pick up coaches. Mm-hmm. And when you travel that far for a coach, it's because at the end of the day, it's worth it. Both from a quality standpoint and from a longevity standpoint. If it's a late model coach and you'll go all that way, it's because it is a cream of the crop piece, or it has some unique specification that we have a calling for. So it's something we will continue to do, and we pride ourselves on it where others shy away from it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all of your help with this road test. And we're going to do some photography in a day or two when the weather improves.
Yep.
And the full road test article on this will be in RV Lifestyle Magazine, volume 35, number 5, which is an autumn issue. That will be available in digital version online at www.rvlifemag.com. And for those who are watching this video, if you click on the magazines tab at the top left-hand side of the website, you will see a page. Scroll down to click on the cover of any of the magazine issues you would like to read, and use the secret password RVLFree2017. And don't tell somebody that I told you. So all of the magazine digital edition archives are available on the website. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Norm.
And we're going to wrap the video right now. And folks, come visit the Hitch House. You will be impressed by a very, very, very interesting dealership.
Thank you.